Hello everybody, quick update then on XRP. So it's looking pretty bullish actually. It's doing its thing a little bit, in my view, earlier than expected, but it's still doing it. So first of all, what we've got to take into consideration is that, provided we're above this Ichimoku cloud, this red cloud, there's every chance that we're going to make it into this blue box territory, which begins at 28 and ends around 30, well, about 31.5, 32. It's probably going to struggle to make that big move, but unlike other cryptocurrencies, XRP is generally an underperformer in this consolidation reaccumulation phase. It's done it in previous market cycles. It basically spends the vast majority of its time going down. I've made videos on it before, so if you're watching my channel, you've probably seen them. But basically, I don't think it's ready to make that big move that everyone's waiting for. That's next year. That's around this time next year it'll be doing that kind of thing. But it doesn't mean that it can't show us that it's definitely got strength in it. I mean, if we look at this move here, this was done outside of all other cryptocurrencies. The other cryptocurrencies weren't doing these kind of moves, so this wasn't it moving with the market. This was it moving on its own, and there was no real fundamental basis for it, and it brought it all the way up to 84% from that big launch pad there to the very tippy top up there. That was done on its own. It wasn't done because of any other thing. It wasn't lifted by Bitcoin, nor was it brought down by anything. It wasn't in an alt season. It wasn't really doing anything other than its own thing, which is why a lot of us, still like to watch XRP and wait for these moves. Now, where are we going to go from here? So, what we've got here is we've got a very high RSI. It can go higher, definitely, and it could even reach all the way up to around 28 on this candle body right now. From between today and tomorrow, 28 cents wouldn't really be a big problem, but it doesn't really have the momentum to carry it on after that. I'd be very, very, very surprised, extremely surprised, if we did see it move on any further than that. Now, being brought back down here, it definitely shows that we're being supported basically on the 10 exponential moving average, which is now moving up quite steeply. That's it, very bullish in its own right. If we look at things like Bitcoin, for instance, let's go to Bitcoin, go to anything that's basically bullish, what you'll see is that same kind of behavior. We launch above the 10 exponential and we're supported above it, and then when we come back down we just test it and continue to stay above it. That 10 exponential is basically the upwards facing level of support that you get in a bullish move. So that's what we're getting. We've had that now for about a week, and it looks like we'll continue to get that. That doesn't mean that we can't come down to test it. Of course we can, and if we did come down to test it, that would be a retracement as of today of around about 4%, which isn't a great big deal, but it would be if you're using leverage like most of us do. I don't know if you do that kind of thing, but if you do, you should do it on Bityard. Bityard is the place to be doing it, because you can do copy traders on there, so you just copy pro traders moves, so you don't have to trade on your own. But obviously it'd be better if you did learn the skills to trade on your own, but if you didn't, if you don't want to, you can still profit from pro traders. Anyway, that aside, where do I personally think this is going right now? I think it's probably going to come back down. I don't think it's got that move in it because the RSI is that high. The MACD is looking pretty nice. We are above the 0 point for the first time in a little while now. So the blue box territory is likely to be hit within the next week, and I did say that once this red cloud is over with, then it shouldn't be a problem at all. So I think that we're going to meander around, come back down to test this 10 exponential, and then at some point next week or the week after, we will launch into this area. And this area, once taken out from the top here, 31 cent or so, then it will actually make the biggest moves that we've seen in a while. That's similar to that of this kind of move. Now, looking at XRP's market cycle and its previous market history, what it generally likes to do is, what it's doing now, just so you know, is that it's reaccumulating in this zone, reaccumulating anywhere from as low as where it hit its all-time low here to where the fib retracement sort of left us at its bottom level, which is around 86 cent, which is basically where this candle body is here. You'll have to watch my sort of market cycle videos on that to understand it, but just take my word for it for now. 86 cent, between 10 and 86 cent, I know that's a massive range, is an accumulation zone, and when we break out of 86 cent is when it does go parabolic. It's not going to go parabolic before that. It might feel like it is because technically that's an 8x already, but that's an 8x within an accumulation zone, so you can only imagine what it'll do once it gets out of there. So we're looking about a 10x from there. We're talking about $8 or so at the end of that parabolic run. Could even be twice that. It could be talking about $16. But when it goes parabolic, it goes parabolic, and we'll not be surprised if we saw areas like $16, for instance. But personally, let's be realistic about it. I mean, it's hard to imagine it doing those kind of moves when you have a chart that looks very much like this, but it's not that hard once you've watched the market cycle video that I've made. It does make a great deal of sense, actually, because it's exactly what it's done in the past. So this is how it behaves. It behaves just like this. This is I know it's crazy because you generally like to think of everything following Bitcoin, but XRP doesn't follow Bitcoin. It does do its own thing, and it's on track to continue doing its own thing, very much like its previous market cycle. So let's not get too overexcited about these red candles. At the end of the day, that's a 5% move. You look at something like Uni token, just today it's done 30% move, or probably more by now. It's just, the last time I saw it was just rocketing up. And just for the record, I did kind of predict that. You go back 2 weeks, you'll see me make a video about Uni token bottoming out. So it's not that I have a crystal ball, but there are certain precursors to price action that you can look at and work out to make these moves. And everybody criticizes me about XRP. I'm not saying that I am right about this, but I have looked at it quite thoroughly, and I do believe that it will launch, but it's not going to launch for next year is when it will start to really make people's jaws drop. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. So let's not get too overexcited. We do have a fair struggle ahead of us. 28 cent to 31 cent is a big deal, but again, we're a drop in the ocean for what it will be like at the end of this market cycle, which is basically a year from now. About 12 to 14 months from now is when it will be finished, and it's only then when profits should really be taken. For these, for those who just want to invest in XRP, you're going to have to be very, very patient, and I'm not really saying to anybody buy anything. That's not for me to say, but there is a market cycle, and the market cycle comes to an end then, and we're not going to see the big moves until then. These prices down here are very, very, very low. They're still essentially the bottom, to be honest with you. So these little red candles, they'll be dwarfed, absolutely dwarfed. You won't be able to see them. They'll be like grains of sand beneath your feet by the end of this market cycle. But so, like I say, let's not get too overexcited. You can try and reaccumulate more. You can buy and sell these dips. It's completely up to you. But actually, one thing I thought I'd bring up on this video is that I've recently started toying with Bitsgap, which is a bot trading platform. You can set one of these accounts up for free, try it out for yourself. But I've had this. A lot of these have just been running for less than an hour, but the ones that I've had running for 24 hours has basically been buying and selling, and accumulating at a phenomenal rate. And some of these profits here, these are small fry because this is Binance, but some of these pairs that I've actually been looking at, where can I find it? I can't see it. The big, I've made a video on it just prior to this. I just thought I'd bring it up. 200% gain in a month this bot was able to accumulate if you chose that specific pair. So I'm just toying around with it at the moment because it is still quite new to me. There is a link below if you want to set it up for yourself, but again, like I say, it is free. This isn't real money at the moment. I'm working it out myself, but yeah, it's a free account, but if you wanted to take it further, I think it's $20 a month or so, but you can play with it and see if you can make some decent returns just on the demo account. But yeah, I thought I'd bring that to your attention because you'll have to watch my video about the why I'm doing this. But even though I am able to make really good calls like the Uni call, and I make good calls all the time, sometimes I'm not able to trade the volatility in amongst all of that. I can do the big swing trades, but there's a lot of price action that gets missed out in amongst all of that, and the bot, to me, looks like it's going to be able to pick up all those trades that I'm not able to do because of just general life. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.